So today's our annual open day. So every year we have one day where we open for anybody who would like to try. So it's for people who've never sailed before or people who have a little bit of experience and just want to find out a bit more. It's even for people who don't want to sail, just want to come and have a cake and a cup of tea. So we have some boats on the water which are for learners, for children. And we also have some adult boats as well, and we can take people out for a little jolly up and down the loch to let them see what sailing's all about.
Well, I've been a member here, this is my 30th year. I actually started sailing in 1946 with the Navy, so I've sailed in a variety of things in a variety of places, but I've been very well settled here at Annandale, as I said, for the last 30 years. The club actually started in 1956 when a few local enthusiasts decided that there was a good loch and there was something suitable for sailing, and they got together. They had to have a base. There was still, where the clubhouse now is, was the curling club's bothy. I shudder at the thought of how much ice was needed before you go out with a curling stone, but they took over the bothy and eventually bought it, and its remnants still are under the present clubhouse. And they got the club going, starting with one boat and then a couple more, tending to be GP14s, which are a good general purpose dinghy, as their name implies. We will take people normally from about 7 on the training events. Clearly they're limited, but we do have some little boats called optimists. They look like ungainly little boxes. They're actually quite remarkably safe, and you'll see 8, 9-year-olds, boys and girls, sailing them down here perfectly happily and perfectly safely. Basically, if there's anything organised by the club going on, then there is a safety boat out, so that is always covered. Members can come down and sail other times if they want to, but then, well, as with driving your car on the road, it's your own risk. But otherwise, we take a lot of juniors on to being very good standards. We've had a number quite recently in the Scottish and I think the national squads. The problem then is keeping them. As with so many youngsters around here, they tend to spread their wings at late teenage, early 20s, and we sometimes have difficulty in getting them back. We've equally had a number of cases where we've had adults join because their children had joined and then they brought parents in afterwards. And that keeps the numbers of the, let's say, the more mature members up, because clearly somebody has to run the club. We have to have a commodore, equivalent of a chairman. We need treasurer, secretary, that sort of job. And it doesn't run itself, but very few clubs or outfits do. But it goes well. We also run powerboat training courses because, of course, when I joined this club, the rescue boat was a rather leaky inflatable dinghy with a not very reliable 4-horsepower Mercury on it, and the wimps wore buoyancy aids. Nowadays, buoyancy aids are a requirement, not just for actually being in the boat, but even going down the jetty. We have a total of 4 rescue boats, a dependable craft with dependable engines, and quite a lot of people who are qualified to handle them and to do rescue work from them. It's interesting sailing here because you tend to think of inland lochs as being really calm and quiet. In fact, it can be distinctly gusty here. Last summer, for example, we had 3 Sundays when there was no sailing at all because it was just too darn hazardous. It's really that the wind comes through the local woods and round about the houses, so what starts off as a fairly steady gust in Torthorald is coming down from 3 directions by the time it gets here, and if you're just sailing quietly along with your mind in neutral and enjoying it, you can sometimes get a rude awakening that boats can have minds of their own. And particularly in the spring, the water can be fairly described as a bit chilly.
We run what are called RYA courses, so the youngsters go through 4 stages, and the first stage is basic boat handling. So they go out and they come back safely. And stage 4 takes them up to the start where they are learned to start to race, so they're learning racing procedures and how to start a race. Adults, it's a more condensed course. They tend to do levels, what are called levels 1 to 3 at the club. Most of our beginners are level 1 and 2. And again, level 1 is basic boat handling out in the water. Level 2, they're starting to be able to participate in club races and club training events. We also run a series of Saturday morning courses which follow on from the open day here. They run into July, and we've got Tuesday evenings at the club where any club member can come along and hone up their racing experience. So they've got different tasks that they're set every week to do, like boat handling skills, like starting a race, rounding a mark, spinnaker work and so on. So they can participate in any one of these sessions.
We've had a really good 12 months. We've had some new members come in after Day of the Region in October last year, where we were involved in the community, and we've made a lot of really good friends with groups in the area, from the tennis club and the bowling club and the pipe band, and also the Castle Lochmaben Trust, who we've just purchased the loch. We've got some really good links with them now as well. And then going forward, we're going to be making some changes to our clubhouse and make that a wee bit more inviting as a space as well.
But as a place to come, it's a friendly club. People will always come and help you. If you can't come to an open day or sign up for one of the training courses, come down on a Sunday. You'll almost certainly find somebody who can tell you about the club, explain what's what, and we're always happy to do that with strangers. If you try sailing and you don't like it, well, you've tried it and you know you don't like it. That's fair enough. If you've tried it and you do like it, we'll be happy to help you take it further. It's not particularly expensive. If you don't mind starting with a second-hand boat, you can get something that's perfectly saleable for just a very few £100, and when you finish with it, you'll sell it. My own boat is in the line up down there. I bought it in 1984, that's 30 years ago almost exactly. I think it cost me about £800 complete with its road trailer. I've been sailing it ever since. Compare that with the depreciation on a motor car. I'm way ahead. I'm laughing about it and enjoying it still. I'm not a spring chicken. I'm more cautious than I used to be, but that happens to all of us. But in the meantime, if you want to come down to a friendly sailing club, I'd recommend Annandale. No bothers.